Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the Platt's Picks Pod. I am your host, Smitty. Ryan, I'm going to say it. It couldn't be the Platt's Picks Pod without Platt's Picks. What's going on?
What's going on, man? How are you?
You know what? Is it possible to have a worse week of betting than I just had? This is my answer to that. This is my visual answer to that. Hold on.
Never say never, but never. There we go.
It is not possible to have a worse week of betting than what I just had. I mean, everything was a bad beat, to be honest.
Was that Saturday when I think I was texting you about this bet, and you're like, "Yeah, I didn't win a single bet today." So
I sent it to Beefy too, and he's like, "That's not possible. There's no way that actually happened." 0 for 7 straight bets, and then 0 for 2 parlays. 0 for 9 total for the day. I've never seen anything like it. I didn't know it was possible, but hey, I might have made history. On Saturday night.
Yeah.
So very rough night for your boy, but you know what that means? Just means we're going to get better this week. There's no way for me to get worse. So I guess I can look at it like that. Only up from here. Mm-hmm. So we're going to change up the way that we do this a little bit. There's going to be more and more stuff to talk about, more sports. Ryan's very excited for college basketball to come back. Not that I'm not, but that's Ryan's baby right there.
I love it. I love it.
So college basketball is going to be coming back. So to implement that, we need to kind of cut down on the NFL stuff. And a lot of games that we go through anyways, we're like, we got nothing on this game. So from now on, we're only going to talk about games that we actually have action on. We're not going to go through every single one. But we will get there when we get there because we're going to start out in the NHL. I did a couple things here for you. One prop bet, one straight bet here. Leon Draisaitl, I'm going over 1.5 points tonight. That's at plus 110 odds. They're going against the Predators, who are on the second game of a back-to-back. So Juuse Saros is not playing in this game. And then Leon Draisaitl is at 17 points on the year. He's tied with Connor McDavid, his teammate, for the most in the NHL. But I feel like Draisaitl, he is becoming a household name, obviously, with his production. But he kind of gets overshadowed playing in Edmonton just because Connor McDavid is also there. But his points over the last few years are like right on par with a guy like Connor McDavid. And Edmonton, second in scoring, tied for second in scoring right now in the entire league. So second game of back-to-back for the Predators against that Oilers offense. They're 7-1 on the year, by the way, are Edmonton. Is this the year for Draisaitl, for McDavid? I don't know, but at least in the regular season, they look very good so far. So I'm going Draisaitl over 1.5 points in this game. My straight bet is going to be Canes and Hawks over 5.5. I said the Oilers were tied for second in the league in goals. Guess who they're tied with? The Carolina Hurricanes, who are playing the Chicago Blackhawks tonight, who are 29th out of 32 in preventing goals. They absolutely suck. They cannot stop anybody from scoring goals. The Canes are scoring over 4 a game. You might be relying on them to score 4 goals in this one. I think that they do it. I'm looking at this as like a 5-2 game, somewhere in that area that will easily go over that 5.5. I saw like on Action, people were like, why is this number not at least 6.5? So I'll take the over 5.5 here and run with it.
I think it jumped up to 6, actually.
Oh, did it? Okay. All right.
So I have one hockey bet. It's not really the same, but I have the Oilers minus 1.5 at plus 115. Predators are on a back-to-back. The Oilers have looked great this year. Usually when teams are on back-to-backs, they kind of come out sluggish. So
I think what you need to monitor with back-to-backs a lot of the time, though, is which goalie played. So, like I mentioned, Juuse Saros, the main netminder for Nashville, played last night. So they're starting Ingram tonight. I've never even heard of this guy. This is his first year, I believe, as the primary backup for them. But, yeah, it's not a good situation, I don't think, for Nashville tonight.
Nope.
And is that all you got in the NHL world?
And then,
okay.
I guess.
You sound conflicted here. It sounds like you want to pull the trigger on something else.
I do. I haven't watched much of the Avalanche this year.
Okay.
And I don't want to eat the 190 money line. I don't like betting on teams that I haven't watched yet.
Okay.
Or like in the Platt Picks Discord, like if I consistently see a NHL team that like you talk about or Mike talks about, I'm like, if he's betting on them, I guess I'll start,
Yeah. the Avalanche, they started off very slow. McKinnon actually was in COVID protocol to start the
Yeah, I
season.
remember seeing that.
But they are on a 2-game win streak. They're back to 4-4 on the year, and they're playing a Columbus team who I'm not a fan of. So I'm not betting on this game, but I would lean Avalanche money line. I don't know that I picked them to cover. 1.5 though.
Yeah, no, I mean I'll probably just throw like $20 on like the Avalanche 60-minute line. Just hope it don't go to OT.
Yeah, with my betting luck, if I were to do that, it's automatically going to OT. So
yeah.
Okay, moving on then, the NBA. I got 3 props, and then I got one game here. We actually are sharing one pick here with the Knicks money line over the Pacers. The Pacers, I gave them a chance. The first 2 games of the season. They let me down. They had like a 20-point lead in one of those games too, and then an 8-point lead in overtime of the other one. So they're on my bad beats list. I refuse to bet on the Pacers, but I absolutely will bet against them. So I'm going Knicks money line tonight, and I know that you are as well.
Yeah, I'm on the Knicks because they blew that game against the Raptors. Like they were up like 15 in the second quarter, and then like the halftime lead was 8, and they come out in the third quarter and didn't make anything. Mm-hmm. And the Raptors end up going up by 10 or 11. I think they bounce back tonight, and I don't want to say smash the Pacers, but I think they beat them. And I know the Pacers do have Brogdon coming back, so he might be a little off on his first game back. But just feed Julius Randle.
Who was the bad beat that we had? Just not too long. I think it was just last week against the Warriors for them to cover, and then they couldn't make anything in the fourth quarter.
The Warriors, we had 9.5, and then they went over and back.
Nah, there was a different one though, because I remember we needed somebody to cover, or no, it was against the Lakers, not the Warriors. Whoever was because Melo would not miss in the fourth quarter.
Oh, it was the Cavs. It was the Cavs because they were winning the majority of that game, and then Melo decided he wanted to be in Denver again.
Yeah, he like 28 off the bench.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my only bet on a game, but I do have a few props here. So I'm going Zach LaVine over 3.5 assists against the Sixers. He's over that in all but one game so far, and in that one game he had 3, so he only would have missed that by half. He's averaging 4.9 assists per game this year, so I really like that number. I feel like that's going to be adjusted at some point, but it's stayed at 3.5 so far the entire season. So before that happens, I'm just going to keep riding that. I'm doing Trey Young under 25.5. Played against James Harden, who's been pretty solid on the defensive side of the floor this year. He's taking less 3-point attempts, is Trey Young. And also, he's getting to the line less than 20% of the time that he was last year. That's dropped from about 40% of their possessions to 20%, something like that. Absolutely ridiculous drop off there. That will climb back up. There's no way that regression continues, but it's not happening tonight. And then my boy Bain for the Grizzlies. That number stayed.
You've been on him, I think, every game. Yeah,
Desmond Bain, over 14.5 points. He's averaging 17.7 on the year, and he's taken no less than 5 threes in every single game. So that's such a low number for him. That's another one that stayed consistent throughout the entire year, and I'm expecting to jump up at some point. Until that does, I'm going to keep hitting it.
Cool. I have 2 more NBA plays. One of them, I have the Hawks +5. Against the Nets. I know you're on the under in Trey Young, but I can't trust the Nets to cover anything right now.
Yeah.
Hey,
listen, that might still happen. Like John Collins could go off.
John Collins has been going off this year. Yeah. Cam Reddish is going off. Capella is just grabbing every rebound except that one game when I had his over, and they just didn't play him in the second half. Don't know why. But I think they cover the 5. And then the last one is the Hornets +6 against the Warriors.
Okay.
One thing about betting the Hornets that I've noticed a trend, they suck in the first half. Just completely suck. And they turn it on in the second half. As you mentioned earlier, they played, I think, the Pacers opening night. They went down 20, and they end up coming back and winning in overtime. Mm-hmm. Just trust the young Hornets team. I think they're going to end up making the playoffs this year, and I think they battle the Warriors pretty tough tonight.
Hold on, did you just make a future bet as well?
Yeah, and I don't know. I tweeted this out right before the season. I have the over on the wins for the Bulls this year.
Yeah. I remember I was going back actually through all of your tweets on Platt's picks. I saw that. I think it was 43.5 at the time. I'm not sure what that's adjusted to. But no, I like that as well. I kind of like their offseason, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The Hornets. I mean, you look at the way it's still very early, but you look at the way the standings are in the NBA this year, it just looks ridiculous. Like the Knicks at the top of the East, the Wizards are up there. Like,
let me see what their future is to make the playoffs, since it was brought up. To make playoffs. Right now, it's plus 128 on FanDuel for the Charlotte Hornets to make the playoffs.
I wonder what they were at to start the season, though.
I don't know.
That's what I'd be curious about.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can go back on somebody's action and see if they made
probably could.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably could.
Do you have more in the NBA? Or
that is it right now. I mean, I did do a Julius Randle double-double.
Okay.
It was plus 100. That's like our go-to. In the
Platt
Picks Discord. If you're not in the Discord, you need to get in there, because now we got soccer in there now. You know,
right.
we all hit on that soccer play today.
Mm-hmm. The Platt's Picks Discord favorites, I'd say, are Julius Randle double-double. I think multiple people in a couple of games in a row we're looking for Luka double-doubles.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a triple-double in there as well.
Yeah.
But I hope people have been tailing the Bain train, because
that's been hitting too.
By the way, I didn't call it the Bain train until just now, but that has to start being a thing.
And I'm still upset that Jack Hughes is hurt, because
that was free money for the first 3 games.
His shots on goal were always plus money. I just didn't get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving on to the NFL. Let's start with something that, based off our conversation before we started recording, I know that we're going to be different on. I actually have the Pats covering 3.5 against Carolina. I just think this is a Bill Belichick special. I know that, I can understand your reasoning with CMC coming back. I don't know what's going to happen at quarterback for Carolina. There's some rumors there that it could end up being like, if Sam Darnold doesn't perform well in the first quarter, first half, we could see PJ Walker. We did see Darnold get benched already, so we'll see what happens there. It just seems like a Bill Belichick special to me, though, with the way that defense has been playing recently. You look at what they did to Justin Herbert just last week.
Yeah.
That defense is trending in the right direction. Mac Jones does enough within the structure of that offense. I like the Pats to cover this.
Yeah, I mean, if Darnold plays and they get CMC back, I think they can push for like the win. But it's kind of just tough, because last week, I mean, I had those underdogs, and they have upset me so much this year. They started 3-0 and then they lose 4 in a row.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a tough one. I know that's actually right now, based off the people that I follow on Action, the most bets have been placed on that game so far.
Yeah.
For the NFL. I think there was already a dozen bets in on that game. Another pretty popular one is this Atlanta-New Orleans one, because no one really knows what's going on with New Orleans. Taysom Hill probably going to play quarterback, but Trevor Siemian and him are going to split QB1 reps throughout practice leading up to it. So for that reason, I know Calvin Ridley stepping away from football changes the Atlanta's offense there a little bit. They've gotten Mike Davis involved more as a receiver now. It's weird, because Cordero Patterson came into the league as a returner and receiver. Now he's the running back. Mike Davis is playing receiver for them. Obviously, Kyle Pitts, who did not have a good first impression, sans Calvin Ridley, but we know that Matt Ryan's just going to pepper him with targets. I like Atlanta to cover this 6 against New Orleans, and mainly because I just don't see this being a high-scoring game. I don't think New Orleans offense is good enough to cover 6 points. Their defense is fantastic.
Yeah. I don't really understand why this line's so big. It's 6.5. I have the over. I'm playing the over in it, but I'll probably put another bet in on the Falcons to cover this.
Yeah, this is like I said, this is another game where a lot of people are betting on so far, already getting on the Action app. Another one I got here is the Raiders covering 3 against the Giants. The Giants stink. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I know they only lost by a field goal to Kansas City. I think that's more about Kansas City than it is the Giants. I thought the Giants looked absolutely awful. Well, Kansas City did too, so no, I'm not sorry about that. But that was one of the worst football games I've had to sit through. I felt like I was watching the who was it? The Seahawks and somebody else, a 6-3 game years ago, and I can't think of who it was. It might have been the Browns. Probably was the Browns. They stink too. Terrible franchise. But anyway, yeah, with this one, man, I don't see the Raiders seem to be coming into their own somehow. Like they get rid of Gruden for very good reason, by the way, and all of a sudden they're just rallying around that. And obviously another tragedy happened. We don't want to talk about like the football aspect of that, but Henry Ruggs no longer part of that football team. Just seems like something else that team's going to be able to rally around. Derek Carr, nobody's talking about him. He's been fantastic this year.
Yeah, a pretty good year.
So I like Vegas -3 against the Giants here.
Speaking of that Chiefs-Giants, thank God I worked, so I missed it. But I just kept looking at the score. I was like, wow, it's
It did nothing for anybody.
Still. I was like, it is 14-10 still.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how long is it going to be this? And then I got home in the fourth quarter, and then I watched fourth quarter. I was like, wow, this game sucks.
Telling you, Pat Mahomes needs to go full Aaron Rodgers and just cut off his family.
Yeah, his brother needs to stop making those TikToks.
I'm not talking when I say full Aaron Rodgers, I don't mean getting some gene stuff that you think replaces a vaccination. I'm talking about cutting off ties with your family and just worrying about football, and that's it. That's what Pat Mahomes needs to do to reclaim his throne in the NFL.
Okay. So then
what is Nick talking about here? Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask you. Nick was curious as to what you were sipping on tonight.
Dr. Pepper.
Okay, I thought maybe it was that Windex behind you.
Maybe if my bets go south.
And then he said, "I will charge you $2 for my picks, Smitty, and I will give you winners." If you can guarantee me that $2 is a very cheap price, by the way. You are not a very good negotiator if you're starting at $2 for handicapping.
So let's see. So another NFL bet I have is the Chargers -1.5 against Philly. Even though the Chargers have slowed down a bit, Philly just is not a good football team at all. They suck.
Well, Jalen Hurts is not a very good quarterback. If you have him in fantasy, that's fine. But
I have him in the fantasy league because Russ got hurt, but now Russ is coming back soon. Bless up on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But Philly just doesn't have a good defense. They kind of just suck in general. I think the Chargers will win by at least a touchdown.
I like it. I don't have it, but I like it. I actually have one more NFL bet, and it's funny that I was just ripping them, and now I'm coming back to this though. But with the Aaron Rodgers news, I actually hurried up and got KC -1 against Green Bay.
Yeah, it's at 7.5 now.
Yeah, it's just jumped too much for me. I think that sans Aaron Rodgers, Kansas City does find a way to win this game. If they don't win this game, they're going to have a lot, because it's not like, I understand winning that game on Monday night got them back to 500, but it's not like, look at that win against the Giants. Like they look terrible. And I know any given Sunday a win's a win, but that they cannot feel great about that performance. Although they have a great addition and a very healthy Melvin Ingram there now.
Oh wow, yeah. Stud pass rusher. Yeah.
But with this game, my biggest thing is actually going to be I'm curious to see what we can get those running back props at. Shout out to the Packers fan in our Discord immediately.
Yeah.
Last Thursday was like, Dylan over 8.5. I was like,
all
right. And then
he
had 7 at half.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, all right, well. Oh, bad beat. This one just came to mind because of this conversation. Tony Pollard was over 7.5 or 8.5 carries. His number.
Didn't get a rush attempt, did he?
He didn't get a second half rush attempt. He had 6 at halftime, and he didn't hit his over.
Wow,
ridiculous.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to put anything. The only thing I had in that game was the over on Jefferson.
Okay.
That game.
And then you guys know I try to find like a weekly upset parlay for you guys in the NFL. It was rough this week. We were talking about it. Like, we like all the favorites pretty much. There aren't many upsets to go around. I'm going to put a little bit of money on this. Browns over Bengals and 49ers over Cardinals. Those would get you plus 344 odds. I wouldn't pick those, to be honest with you personally.
Yeah.
Going and finding upsets this week was hell. It might have been worse than my week of betting, honestly.
Yeah, I think if any week that all the favorites will win, I think it's this week.
This is why we need Platt's Picks merch. I don't have it, but I like it.
We need to get that on a t-shirt. Let's do it.
Just like never say never, but never.
Yeah. Speaking of bad beats, real quick. I know we're not in college yet, but I think
we're
done
about
with
to
it.
be. That was my
Dude, effing Clemson, man. Florida State doing all this tossing back and forth, and they lose the ball, and then Clemson covers. That was their first cover of the year. They were 0-7 up to that point.
Yep.
And they cover.
Disgusting. That's like that's going to be shown, I think, as one of those clips. Like it should be at least on the bad beat segment.
Dude, I was like, why are they tossing it? Just go down or go out of bounds. Let me cover my bet.
Well, we are in college football now, so we can talk about these things. I'm going to start off. I feel like I'm picking against this team like every week, whether it be somebody to cover against them or like a super upset like I did last week. But we're coming back to the well. UNC knocks off Wake Forest, covers 2.5. UNC is top 10 in the country running the football. What does Wake do? I bring it up every single week. They cannot stop the run. They are 4-9 against the spread on the road in their last 13 games is Wake Forest. I think that Sam Howell has something to prove in this game to show that he's still one of the top quarterbacks in this class, and he's going against a rising quarterback in this class, and Hartman from Wake Forest. I think that he answers the bell this week, and UNC gets a big win at home.
Okay.
And if I'm going to pick them to win this game, I might as well pick them to cover 2.5, win by at least a field goal.
So this one, I said this last week. Michigan State -3 against Purdue. Michigan State is the second best team in the Big Ten.
They might be the best.
They might be the best. Their running back, I don't know why I'm forgetting his name.
Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker. He might even win the Heisman.
5 touchdowns against
Michigan. 5 touchdowns. Just give it to him. And I saw that they were ranked 3 in the latest college football playoff. Yeah. So I just really like Michigan State this year, and I think they covered the 3 against Purdue.
I told you. I mean, they might be the second best team, honestly. They're the only team not named Georgia who has an NFL-level defense, let's be honest about it, that is top 10 in efficiency on offense and defense. And their offense is Kenneth Walker, so it's really just him. He would – if I had a Heisman vote, it would go to him. Speaking of that game, though, I don't think that Kenneth Walker – so he's going to have a good game, don't get me wrong, but he's like to have 5 touchdowns. I actually like the under for this game because I don't think that Purdue's offense is going to score much in it, but their defense is good enough. They've started to create more turnovers as well down the stretch here since that upset of Iowa. So I really like both defenses. I think that this just has the makings of like a 24-20 type game. The over-under set at 54. I'm going under on that.
I like that play. A lot, actually.
So you're saying that you like it, but you're not going to play it.
Yeah.
But I don't have it. I'm sorry. That was the original quote. That's what we're putting on the shirt. You got anything else in college football?
I have a couple more, actually.
Okay.
So I have Oklahoma State -3.5 against West Virginia. Dude, I hate West Virginia. They've cost me so much money this year. So I'm probably just Oklahoma State, I think, should win this pretty convincingly. I mean, if you don't want to do that, you probably have West Virginia, don't you? With your little self.
We'll get to it.
With your little self. Whatever. I mean, it's either 3.5 or the over. I'm on the 3.5.
Okay. Well,
I'll
bring up this one first. No. I'll bring up this one first. I got Navy and Notre Dame under 47. I hate Notre Dame's quarterback. I hate that offense. I think they suck. Navy's offense is running the football, and it's so time-consuming. So I'm just thinking there's not going to be many possessions in this football game. It's going to be very time-consuming drives that end with maybe 3 if each team is lucky. So I got the under 47 in that game. The reason that I had that smirk on my face, though, West Virginia over Oklahoma State straight up, plus Stanford over Utah is this week's upset parlay at plus 740 odds.
Okay. I will not tell you, but
shout out to my boy Wesley Euler, who is a big West Virginia guy. I won't bring up the 13-9, but
Let's see.
But they're favored by 3.5. Oklahoma State is the number 11 team in the country, but West Virginia, this could be a good or bad thing. Kind of riding this high over this win over a ranked opponent in Iowa State. We'll see how West Virginia responds. They are only 4-4 on the year, but that's a massive win that they're coming off of.
Okay. I think, is this my last one? Let's see. Yeah, I like the over in the Texas and Iowa State game.
Okay.
It's at 60.5. So you could probably teaser it if you really wanted, but both these offenses look pretty good. So I think it's going to go over. I don't trust Texas to cover the 6.5. They're the underdogs, by the way.
Makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, I got one thing left here for college football, and I think we all know what it is. It's going to be Smitty's super upset of the week. Last week wasn't even close, by the way, with that Duke over Wake Forest call. What was the final score? 45-0, something like that. Yeah, that was bad. The previous 2 weeks looked pretty decent, though. 1 week we won with Purdue over Iowa. The following week, East Carolina took Houston to overtime before falling. So if you bet on that, they gave you your money back. So this week, Liberty over Ole Miss, plus 300 odds. You know how big of a fan I have of Matt Corral. But if you watch that game, he's banged up. Yeah. I don't think that we're going to see that version of him. And guess who he's going against? Another guy vying to be the first quarterback off the board, and Malik Willis. I think that this is a game where they just go head-to-head, and I think at the end of the day, health plays a little bit into this, and Malik Willis and Liberty get the better of Matt Corral and Ole Miss.
Wow. Okay. I definitely did not see this one coming, but I mean, I could see it.
I dude, this is another one. It's similar to the NFL. There's just not a lot of
especially because, like you said, because I watched that whole Ole Miss game. If Nick is still in here, we were texting back and forth during the game because we both had Ole Miss money line. Yeah, and I was like, dude, I don't understand how Ole Miss is losing this game. Like, they had so many chances, but Matt Corral is so banged up right now.
Right. So, yeah, and I think that continues this week. I don't see him getting back to 100% health before Saturday.
And I think their number one receiver had a hamstring injury.
Oh, that's why
during the game last week. There we go.
I had no clue about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think.
Go ahead.
Because during the game, he hurt his hamstring, and then Kiffin sent him back out for a trick play. And then he couldn't even walk. He's limping to the sideline. I was like, great job, coach.
Nice job. Okay, so we want to – that's it. See, I told you we were going to be able to condense the show a little bit. We're under a half hour here, but I know that, Ryan, you want to talk about, because we're going to start implementing college basketball more. You have a couple futures you want to bring up. I'm just going to let you take it away. I'm going to shut up, and you can talk about college basketball.
Alrighty. If you're new to this and you don't know me, I love college basketball. College basketball is my favorite time of the year. From start to finish, it's great. You get all these weird teams covering spreads by 20.5. You got all these SEC teams beating up on the ACC teams. But real quick, I have 3 favorites that I've locked in already. It's super early, so it could go south. Or I could look like a real genius. So the first one is to win the national title. I have the Michigan Wolverines at plus 948. They came real close last year. They were a really good basketball team last year. They got Hunter Dickerson back, who is their big center. He averaged 14 and 7 last year. He could have went pro. I really don't know why he came back. And Michigan also has had the number 2 recruiting class in the nation. So when you bring in all these 5 stars and put them together, I think they can make a real good run. I have them to win the national title, and I have them to win the Big Ten. And to them to win the Big Ten, it's at plus 200.
There you go.
Then my last one for now, because I got to do some more research, I have Kentucky Wildcats to win the SEC at plus 225. One thing about Kentucky is they always have talent in there. they kind of got hurt last year. COVID, dealing with a lot of injuries as well. So I think they bounce back, but I would look out for Arkansas.
I was just about to say, who do you think is Kentucky's biggest threat in the SEC this year? Because
I think it's Arkansas.
I think on the surface, most people are just like, "Oh, Kentucky's like easily the clear-cut favorite. Who's even going to compete with them?" Arkansas. What makes you think that?
Well, I mean, they got a pretty good recruiting class coming in, and they got my boy Tony from Pitt as a transfer.
Oh, that's right.
So that adds another scoring and a great defender in him as well. So I think they can sneak up on him if that would be a team to threaten Kentucky.
I am more excited for college basketball, I feel like, this year than most years. Although, even with the unfortunate news out of Pitt.
Dude, Pitt might win 5 games.
Yeah.
Like, they just lost their number one scorer.
Mm-hmm.
They lost 3 starters. It's going to be rough. That might be a team that I bet against all year, honestly. I did the same thing with the Pirates. The Pirates sucked. I bet against them almost every game.
Yeah, see, watch them for absolutely no reason have like a really nice year, compete in the ACC.
Yeah, what? Yeah, they'll fucking make the tournament.
Where are they even projected? Are they projected?
They're like dead last. Yeah, that was before the Nike news. So
now, let me ask you this: do you, with all this into consideration, losing 3 starters with the Nike news, where are you at with Jeff Capel though?
Dude, he's a great recruiter. He brought in talent, and then they just champagne's the NBA.
I feel like, are you talking about Jeff Capel or Jim Harbaugh?
Both.
James Franklin.
Both. I think he's a great recruiter, but I think he's going to get a pass once again because he lost 3 starters and now he lost one of his top scorers. Mm-hmm. I don't know. He's a good recruiter. I just don't know if he can coach. If you watch Pitt games last year, when they face somebody in a 2-3 zone, they don't attack it. They just stand there and pass the ball around and take a jumper. I don't know. I just feel like he needs the coach. Clearly he can bring in the talent, but if you can't coach that talent, you're just going to be at the bottom.
We need to get the betting odds on Andrew McCutcheon coming back to the Pirates. He just tweeted 4 minutes ago, "I'm not done."
Uh-oh.
So, bring him back.
I forgot to say this during NFL. The odds aren't out yet, but we will be at the Steeler game Monday night.
Yes. If for some reason anybody's watching this, and I know we're going to be with Mike, my other friend Mike as well, couple Mikes, going to be parked at the casino, maybe walking around. If for some reason somebody's in here right now watching, this is also going to be at the game. Hit us up. Love to meet up with as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for it. Color Rush.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. We'll see about Khalil Mack. I'm not sure what's going on with him.
But I actually have 2 prop bets that I know I'll be placing.
Okay.
They're touchdown scorer props, actually. First touchdown scorer is going to be Deontay Johnson.
Okay.
And my second one, like I said, I don't know the odds yet, but Justin Fields to score a touchdown.
Rushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm curious to see what his rushing number is too, because I think he's gonna be running for his life. So
yeah, I mean, the Deontay one's is I'm just throwing a dart, hoping the Steelers get the ball first. But Fields, he's gonna be running for his life. If they get to the goal line, it's going to be him.
For me personally, I'm looking every week. I'm just waiting for similar to how I've been able to ride. Yeah, similar to how I've been able to ride Desmond Bain in the NBA. Like Pat Freiermuth, his receiving just stays at 3.5 receptions, and now that we're seeing him pretty much officially take over tight end 1 duties, you'd think that number has to start creeping up. He is Ben's new Juju. In third and short situations when they need to move the sticks, he's the guy because there's not there's not a receiver that replicates that skill set.
Now, Pat and then Gentry had a pretty good week too.
Yeah.
So where does that leave Ebron? Like
Ebron's, I think
I don't
it's
think
situated.
Ebron has like a place in the offense anymore. Like I'm just gonna be honest. I just
I
don't.
think the only thing working
see
for
it.
him, is they don't have a true slot receiver. So I think that like situationally he can be used as a big slot, but I don't see him playing more than
Because he can't
10,
block.
10
Like
to 15 snaps. Yeah,
he
he's going to
can't
be
block.
basically a receiver.
Yeah,
I think.
and like the line has improved as well. Najee's running the ball even better. So I
And he
just
catches the ball. That's another guy in front of Ebron in the pecking order.
yeah. He might be standing on the sideline with Banner, just watching the game. Banner finessed us for like a paycheck. Actually, word to Jamal because that's what he texted me last Sunday.
Finessed.
Yeah,
that was a 2-year deal, by the way. I know that there's not like much financial commitment after this year, so they can get out of it. It's structured like the same way as Cam Sutton's, basically.
yeah.
Where they can either extend upon that second year or like completely do away with the second year. I think that we see those, at least right now as we're looking at it, like they go in opposite directions, in my opinion. I think that they're look to extend Cam Sutton again, especially with them knowing Hayden probably hitting free agency. They don't sound like they want to bring him back. And then with Banner, I mean, Dan Moore's progressed faster than they thought, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't see, for whatever reason, this isn't even about betting anymore, but I still don't see the Steelers, as we sit here right now, in Tomlin wanting to draft a quarterback in the first round and play him right away. I think first round, as we sit here today, is either a corner or offensive lineman.
I think it has to be corner. In my
I like his
opinion.
corner class a lot, honestly. So
I like Ahmed Gardner a lot out of Cincy.
Ahmed Gardner, what's his nickname?
What is it?
I saw people, because that's what people just call him. Like in the draft community, people don't even call him Ahmed Gardner. Sauce Gardner.
Okay, yeah, I want him now actually with that nickname.
You got Stingley Jr. I don't know if the Steelers are going to be picking high enough to get somebody like him, though. Booth out of Clemson is really nice, too.
And the line has progressed, each week. Everyone was bashed on the first couple of weeks, but when you throw rookies in there, they're not going to mesh all together.
3 of the 5 are in their first or second year. And the one out of those 3 only played a handful of games in his rookie year.
Yeah.
So, you have Trey Turner and you have Chooks, and Chooks is the worst one on the line.
Yeah.
And Trey Turner's not a long-term solution.
Nope.
So, they're definitely growing each week. It's just right now, even though Chooks isn't playing well, you don't see really a path to Banner overtaking him when they're on a 3-game win streak and the running game has progressed each week. It's just hard to make that switch.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd feel like you have to see something go south in order for Banner to step in. But even if that's the case, like, is he in front of Joe Hage? Like, Joe Hage looked pretty good, especially in the game when he's played. So I don't know. Be interesting to see. We will be there Monday night.
Yes, we will.
Steelers, Bears. In the rest of the NFL, I'm sure we'll have a lot more prop bets as well. It's just we don't have that at our disposal right now to talk to you guys about. So follow along with us. Let us know if you want to get in the Discord. Follow us on Action. You'll see our picks track. But, yeah, the Discord has been really fun. We got over 20 people in there now. It's interactive. People are constantly throwing their bets in there and giving input. So hit one of us up. Hit up the account, however you want to get in. Just let us know. Other than that, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Platt's Picks, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.